All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Hope everybody out there is having a great one. We got a lot to dive into. So a little bit later on, Hillary Clinton goes full MAGA. She went full MAGA. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. Wait until you see what she said at this Zionist event that she was at. So we'll talk about that. We also have Trump Jr. and other various Trump officials cucking themselves to Nick Fuentes in the most humiliating way imaginable. We have certain Republicans have now come out, and they are agreeing that Pete Hegseth is a war criminal. Never thought I'd see the day. Hell has frozen over, but it's an amazing thing to see, so we'll talk about that. And then later on, you have a Fox News host who issued a dire warning to his fellow Fox News host about how socialism can win. That perhaps we dismiss this thing a little too quickly, and it has more of a sway than we like to admit. So we'll talk about that. And the economy is just absolutely on the brink, y'all. I mean, we got some horrifying numbers about buy now, pay later, Klarna stuff that's just skyrocketing. We have debt is through the roof. We have some new economic numbers, which they've been trying to hide. They've been trying to hide it like crazy. Didn't work. So we'll talk about that too. So you guys know the drill. Everybody, please do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel. You can also support the show on Patreon or tip with that thanks button on YouTube. Remember, y'all, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser. I've never done an ad read. I've been doing this show full time since 2012. I'm very proud of that fact. So hook a brother up with a little bit of help if you're so inclined. We also have, of course, Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack that you can go sign up for. We got some awesome interviews coming up in the near future. And, of course, go sub to the Corn's World YouTube channel. We do live Kyle and Corn episodes every single Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, so you don't want to miss that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right in. So, look, we got to talk about this. As you all know, there's been something fishy going on with Trump's health for a while now. He randomly disappeared for 6 days out of nowhere, whatever it was, 2 months ago or something like that. And, that's never happened. I mean, since he came down that escalator in 2015, he cannot stay out of the limelight. He needs to be in front of the cameras. He's one of those guys that's like oxygen to him. It's like air that he needs to breathe to be in front of a camera. And so a bunch of people were like, okay, well, that's weird. Then he comes back and he looks like fucking shit in his first public meeting. I mean, it was horrible. He was talking all gravelly and rough, and he looked like he got hit by a train. Then there were all these videos coming out of him not being able to walk properly. He couldn't walk a straight line. He's got this weird gait, this weird thing going on with one of his legs. Then, of course, there was the hand bruising. The hand bruising brought about because they're clearly injecting something through an IV into his hand on a regular basis. So this, of course, led to people speculating. Based off some of the evidence that we've seen, people were speculating maybe he's having mini strokes, right? Maybe he had a mini stroke and, he needed to recover from the mini stroke. So they kept him out of the spotlight for 6 days. He came back. He still didn't look great when he came back. But obviously now people are going to talk because there's clearly some kind of a cover-up happening. Well, the argument that made the most sense to me to this point was the mini strokes. I feel like there was enough evidence to point in that direction, or at least make it possible that that's probably what he was struggling with. But you know what? I have to say, there's a new theory on the block, y'all, and this new theory may just be convincing me. So first, let me play this for you. The other day, Trump was on the plane. Remember, he had accidentally admitted that he had an MRI recently. And that was sort of like, that's weird. And by the way, the reason he admitted it is because Trump, he can't help himself. He's like, I had the world's best MRI. Doctors say my brain is the most beautiful, my body's the most beautiful body you've ever seen. And they said it was the perfect MRI, like my perfect phone call with Ukraine. It was perfect. So he had to brag about his MRI results. And that's how he accidentally let the cat out of the bag. They were trying to keep it on the low. He let it out. Well, then the media decided later on, well, let's ask some follow-up questions because what the fuck? Something's clearly going on here. So that's where we got this clip from.
Mr. President, could you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand that the results were good, but what was it for?
The person asked, can you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand you said the results were good, but why? What was it for? Okay, ready? You could see him already. The hamster wheel in his brain slowly moving. Here we go.
What was it for?
Because it's part of my physical.
That's a lie. That's not a thing.
Getting an MRI is very standard. What, you think I shouldn't have it? Other people get it.
Typically, an MRI
I had an MRI.
Specific part of your body.
Here's what the story is. I had an MRI. The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor.
He's such a clown of a person, right? But what's so crazy is this shit works on like 40% of the country. They hear this and they go, man, he must have had a great MRI, man. They must have said, man, Donald Trump, you got the best body ever, bro. It's amazing. Like, it's obviously like he's putting on a show here. That's what he's doing.
That's it. But I had an MRI as part of my standard yearly, or I think they do it every 2 years, but I have the physical every year. And the result was outstanding.
Was it your brain?
Did you know? I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well, and they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen. Now, the other thing I took, as you know, a very advanced test on mental acuity.
It was literally a dementia test. He's calling it an advanced test. It was literally a dementia test.
Because I think a president should have to do that. And as you probably heard, I aced it. I got a perfect score. I got the highest score. I got a perfect score. And the only reason I tell you that is it's one subject, unlike Biden and others, that you can take off your plate.
The question on nuclear testing, just being very specific.
So he goes on to say, they ask, what body part did they MRI? And he goes, what body part? I don't know what body part. And then he goes, but it wasn't the brain. It wasn't the brain because I aced that test that they gave me, let me tell you. So he goes, what body part? I don't know what body part, but it wasn't the brain. It's like dealing with, like a lying 6-year-old, right? Or a lying 5-year-old. That's what it's like. It's like, we see the chocolate on your mouth from when you snuck the chocolate chip cookie, right? You got the chocolate ice cream all over your face. We know you had the ice cream when we told you not to. No, I didn't. It definitely wasn't ice cream. It's definitely not ice cream on my face. Everybody can see through this. Okay, so it's so weird. He's hiding some shit, right? He's clearly hiding it. It's not close. Something's up. This fucking caught my eye. The drug to treat Alzheimer's, Leqembi, requires regular MRIs of the head due to potential brain bleeds as a side effect. Now, by the way, I also read more on this. It's not just brain bleeds, it's also brain swelling. And the other thing is, somebody could be relatively asymptomatic, but dealing with brain swelling and brain bleeds, and they don't know any, and then they die. So it's super important that you get the MRIs to stay on top of, hey, are we managing the side effects of this? It is given by infusion. The multiple MRIs, along with his hand bruising at regular intervals, all point to him getting Leqembi infusions for Alzheimer's. So like I said, I did some more reading on this thing. And yes, they said they usually do the infusions through IV every 2 weeks, every month. This is like exactly Trump's intervals between when he has the bruising. And by the way, just to show you, it's from the other day. He's got the 2 Band-Aids covering the spot where he normally gets the infusions. Now, apparently, I didn't know this or I forgot it, but Trump's dad had Alzheimer's, which means his likelihood of getting Alzheimer's, he's at risk 3 to 15 times more than the normal person because it's in his genetics. So his dad died at 86 years old, and he had severe Alzheimer's at the time. Trump is now 79. They say, or he's 80 actually, I believe. They say you could start showing symptoms at 65, bro. At 65. So, honestly, he should be thanking his lucky stars because he made it until like what, 76 before showing any symptoms? 75, 76, roughly thereabouts, something like that. And now here he is at 79, 80 years old, and it looks like it may all be catching up to him now. So, Trump's nephew, Fred, has come out and said, I already see signs in Trump that Trump's dad had. Trump's dad was also named Fred. But I already seen signs in Trump that his dad had as well. Okay, well, that's kind of scary. They go on to say the first thing to go when you're struggling with this is executive function and impulse control. That's a crucial one. Why is that a crucial one? Look at what we've been seeing from him. Remember, he was screaming at a female reporter, quiet, piggy, quiet, piggy. Like literally breaking out 1940-style misogyny. Like it was nothing. Right? He was also screaming at some other reporter the other day. What are you, stupid? What are you, stupid? Are you stupid? Like, the first thing to go, executive function and impulse control. They say behavioral disinhibition is a big thing too. So things that you would otherwise know are really weird, but you do them anyway because you like no longer can grasp that it's weird. A good example of that is when he was campaigning for president. He was at this event and he randomly decided to stop the event and play like Ave Maria and songs for like 30 to 45 minutes. And like he just stood there and swayed back and forth. He stopped the event to become a fucking DJ. Stuff like that. And there's a lot of moments like that with Trump. He's up there on stage when he's campaigning talking about Arnold Palmer's cock, right? Like, even for Trump, this is what we need to realize, guys. Even for Trump, that shit is weird. Even for Trump, that's behavioral disinhibition. So they also say there's this phonemic paraphasia or phonemic paraphasia. And that is where you try to say something and your brain is not grasping how to say it properly. So you just sort of fill in the blanks with sounds, right? So like you're trying to pronounce something, your brain goes, I can't really get that properly. And so you just start like grunting or putting sounds in to like fill the middle spaces that you can't complete, right? And here's a good example of that. I'll play good examples of that for you.
You know, we just said another stock market. You saw that, right? The stock market.
Technology companies are really big beneficiaries.
The wall is under construction. A lot of work has been done. A lot of renovation.
Made a pivotal, really, and I mean this was pivotal.
Obama amnesty. Obama amnesty.
And ICE officers removed 10,000 known or suspected gang members, police officers, and you saw that, all of those incredible police officers.
Now, if this was just one example, it would be nothing. But when you had these long compilations where he can't do it, you have, he couldn't say acetaminophen the other day. To be fair, that's one maybe he just didn't know how to pronounce. But then there's other examples too where it piles up and piles up and piles up. And you go, really? He couldn't say origins. He would say oranges or oranges. Struggling without, there's all these different ones. And this is the definition of phonemic paraphasia. That's what it is.
Day starting the process of terminating the diversity lottery program. If we are going to succeed in stopping this scourge, decided to shield and shelter criminal. Look, wait. Their whole state to be a sanctuary for criminal, illegal immigrants. Fairness and reciprocity. And I say that finally. I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia, embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, despite these obstacles, Karen, we must seek real bipartisan solutions. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports and the combat infantrymen. They sacrifice every day for the furniture and future of their children.
All right, you guys get the gist of it, but how about confabulation is evidence of Alzheimer's? What's confabulation? It's like honest lying, where like it's sort of like pathological lying, where you convince yourself that you're right even though you know you're wrong. It's like when the example to give on that one is like when Trump said that Nikki Haley ordered a stand down on January 6th to not send in the National Guard. And everybody was like, wait, hold on. I think you're trying to say Nancy Pelosi. And he goes, no, I mean Nikki Haley. It's like, people are trying to help you out with your lie by telling you mean to lie about Nancy Pelosi. And he's like, nope, Nikki Haley. That's an example of that. Memory lapses, of course, which happen all the time. Decline in verbal complexity. The thing about Trump, though, is like, he always was a pathological liar, so it's kind of hard to tell if there's confabulation going on because he did that normally, right? A decline in verbal complexity, that's also difficult because when he ran in 2015, 2016, there were reports that he spoke at a 6th grade level, right? I guess if you revisit that and find out and he now speaks at a 4th grade level, then yes, there's this decline happening. But yes, if you go compare, he was on Larry King in like the 1980s or early 1990s, compare how he talks then to how he talks now, there has been a clear downgrade. The other thing is repetition and fixation. He definitely does that. He goes back to the standard fucking points that he goes back to. Sundowning is another one. There's evidence on that front. Why? Because he used to start his days earlier. There was just a breakdown that came out, this report. Now he starts his days much later. If he used to start at like 9 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever it was, now he starts at 10:30, and now he wraps up his days earlier too, right? You got the brandification happening right in front of our eyes. And it's interesting because Biden's problems, cognitive problems, could have also been predicted based off the fact that he had, a brain bleed or an aneurysm? And apparently, you have a much higher risk of dementia later on in life if you have a brain bleed like he had. And so there were some warning signs there. But the warning signs for Trump are perhaps even more so because, like I said, his dad had Alzheimer's, died at 86 with a severe case of it. And like I said, Trump's 80 years old, man. By the way, another piece of evidence of this, gait abnormalities. In fact, they say that that's like one of the side effects of this medicine, this Leqembi medicine, is that. And so if the shoe fits, and, to me, this kind of makes sense. Now, is it possible it's the mini strokes? It's possible it's mini strokes. But is it also possible that it's Alzheimer's? And by the way, final point I forgot to mention to you guys. They give this drug for early Alzheimer's. They don't give it in the middle or the late stages, right? So clearly, there are some signs there. They were worried about it. He got checked out. They told him, we got a problem, right? Then they started giving him the medicine. And like I said, they need the MRIs to monitor to make sure his brain doesn't swell and he doesn't have brain bleeding. That, if I'm being honest, that all sounds like Occam's razor to me. That seems like what's likely happening. So you guys tell me what you think. Obviously, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just an asshole on the internet giving my opinion. All the stuff I'm saying is allegedly here. But what I'm for fucking shit sure of is they're covering something up. Is it mini strokes or is it Alzheimer's, early Alzheimer's, or is it something else? I don't know, but there's a lot of evidence here, isn't there? Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.